Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and all across Africa and beyond. Welcome, of course, to the Safe Zone webinar. Safe Zones, a new global standard for clean trade and enable trade in free zones across Africa and across the world. We're just going to take a few minutes for webinar participants to join the webinar. And then we'll kick it off for short. So we'll just give it a few more minutes and we'll be ready to go. Thank you again and welcome. Once again, welcome those who are just joining us. That we will be starting in a few more minutes. We would have all the participants be ready for any Q&A, any questions, any challenges on the free zone, the safe zone certification program, and how that can be linked into direct value addition to your free zone special economic zone activity across Africa. Just a few more minutes, we'll be ready to go. While we're just waiting for the other participants to come on board, just again to clarify the house rules, the box at the bottom, there is a Q&A box. You don't have to wait till the end of the presentations to raise your hands or to post a question. So as the presentation is ongoing or even before, you can actually post your questions there. That way we can easily address them as the webinar goes on. It's going to be to the point. We have a practical session. Maybe we can put up the agenda here again. So there's an opportunity to actually see how to get and log on to the actual program beyond just knowing what it's about. It doesn't really matter where you are in the spectrum of your free zone development, even if you're at a conceptual level or just a startup or you're an ongoing. I think at this point in time, we will start. It's 2 minutes past the hour. I will start by making some introductory remarks, and then I'll hand it over to Engineer Hussam to take it from there. Right. So now, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Emeka Ene, and I'm a director on the board of the World Free Zones Organization from Africa. Africa's economic potential is something that is been talked about, but put in the right perspective. There are over 500 ethnic groups in Africa speaking more than 2,000 languages and living in 53 countries. But of course, Africa is a huge economic powerhouse, potential in most cases, with more than 10% of the world's oil reserves, more than 40% of the world's gold, up to 90% of special metals used in the electronics industry, right? And of course, with more than 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. Now that is huge potential. And in recognizing this, the leaders of Africa created a One African Market in March 2018, the AFCFTA, which essentially created the potential for having all African countries work in a collaborative manner to create a big market. However, the challenges across Africa is the poor quality of Africa's physical infrastructure, roads, rail, ports, ICT, bureaucracy and logistics issues, and of course, the customs barriers and cultural issues that have pervaded and limited the potential of Africa. But to leverage the potential of the African market, free zones existing across Africa can potentially become the oasis of world-class infrastructure, right? Help to resolve non-trade barriers, but with the presence of a certification system that establishes a reliable cross-border trade. And on this note, I would like to introduce the Safe Zone, which is a new global standard for clean trade in free zones, and it gives international certification that allows free zones to meet the higher standards of safety, security, integrity, quality, and of course, enabling trade to take place. The World Free Zone Organization is non-profit, located in Dubai, domiciled in Geneva under Swiss law, but we have operating in more than 140 countries and territories with 12 regional offices. The Safe Zone Certification Program is championed by the World Free Zone Organization. I will not go into that. I will allow the presentation to take place at this point. But I want to, of course, end my opening remarks with a statement from Paul Kagame. In Africa today, we recognize that trade and investment and not aid are the pillars of development. And I would, of course, advocate that certification programs like the Safe Zone program will help in enabling trade and investment to take place seamlessly across Africa. Thank you very much. On that note, I would like to invite Engineer Hussam Abdallah to please take it from there and give us the presentation of the day. If we can just quickly show the program and then come back to Engineer Hussam. Engineer Hussam?
Thank you, Mr. Emeka. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to present one of our flagship products called Safe Zone Certification. So this is a program. It's actually a global standard for clean trade in free zones. And when I say free zones, I mean free trade zones, special economic zones, or could be industrial parks, as long as these ones are bounded, as long as these are bounded. And I will explain to you what I mean by bounded. We know that illicit trade is an unfortunate byproduct of global trade flows. Whenever there's a flow, cargo movement between zones, cross borders, there is some sort of illicit trade is going in there. And this represents as much as 15% of the global GDP, and it accounts for almost 3.3% of global trade, which is equal to more than $500 billion. So at the World Free Zone Organization, we work with our international partners. We have designed what is called a voluntary standard for interested zones. So it's not a compulsory, it's a voluntary standard. Our partners we have worked with include the World Customs Organization, and we have used their SAFE framework. Our partners include World Trade Organization, where we use the Trade Facilitation Agreement, and we have worked with the OECD, and we have used the Code of Conduct for clean, free trade. So based on these three documents, we came up with the framework or with the program called Safe Zone Certification Program. So we have built this program again as a voluntary compliance to protect zones from illicit activities taking place within their borders and to help them promote their integrity, transparency, and governance to different stakeholders. holders. So the scope of this certification program covers free trade zones, special economic zones, industrial parks, as long as they are bounded. Bounded means they are fenced. They have boundary walls containing them. And free zones, they have to be in operation for minimum 3 years. 3 years before they apply for this certification program. In 2018, we have done a pilot project. We have run this program across 5 free zones globally. One of them is Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. Another one is a free zone in Barcelona, and another one in Luxembourg, Latvia, etc. So we have done 5 successful pilot free zones in 2018, and they were, successfully recognized and awarded on stage. We have 2 types of awards, or we have 2 types of certification. One is called Safe Zone certification, and the other one is higher level. It's called Safe Zone Platinum certification. The difference is that in the second one, there shall be like some sort of security declaration signed by all companies operating in the free zone or the special economic zone. If it exists, these declarations are signed by all companies, then the zone, once it is found to be in compliance with the certification requirements and the program, then will be awarded the Safe Zone Platinum. If it's not there, the security declaration is not there, then based on the conformances and the compliance, the zone can be awarded with Safe Zone certification. The certification is valid for 2 years, and the certification after 2 years, it is an optional for the zones to recertify, or just to say, no, thank you, we are safe and secure now, okay, and we will be doing our own procedures. So we encourage going for recertification every 2 years in order, to make sure that there is an independent validation by third party who comes in place and verify that this zone, free zone or special economic zone is safe and secure. In March 2019, we have headed delegation of 20 free zones, and we met with the OECD to showcase our efforts, how we are helping zones demonstrate their clean trade credentials. There are so many benefits actually, but not limited to these ones. The benefits include at higher level countries, governments, and free zones. Benefits include facilitation of trade, attracting more FDIs, foreign direct investors, increasing exports at the zones, enhancing the economy and the GDP, and at the end, improving the image, the brand of the zones, and creating more jobs. At other level, like partners such as banks and logistic industries or multilateral organizations or products owners, again, the benefits are facilitation of trade and reducing the risk. Once the risk is reduced, definitely the liability will be reduced and creating more business opportunities once the zone is safe. Okay, how zones, free zones or special economic zones can apply to this program? Everything is online through our website. So first of all, they have to register online, fill out an application form. It's available on the website. The application form, it will come to us and it will go to our Safe Zone Committee, who will make sure that the zone is bounded, first of all. The structure hierarchy is there, and the zone is in operation for more than 3 years. Once it is found that everything is okay, then an email will be sent to the zones to create login, username and password. And again, there will be some documents have to be submitted, like the World Free Zone organization contract. It has to be signed. And the zone has to sign what is called a code of conduct. It's almost like 2 pages we will send to them. It's an OECD Code of Conduct. They have to sign on it. They have to do initial payment, advance payment of 50% of a total of $10,000. So the certification program will cost $10,000, and 50% has to be paid initial payment to show commitment. And also the zone has to provide us with a copy of the license. Okay, now once all these have been fulfilled, then a welcome email will be sent to the zones and ask the zones to start filling out the self-assessment questionnaire. To understand the self-assessment questionnaire that has almost 7 questions, very simple 7 questions, we can create or we can conduct awareness sessions if required. If required for any zones interested over the Zoom, we can conduct awareness about the requirements and understanding of the self-assessment questionnaire, although we attach with the self-assessment questionnaire explanatory notes. Okay, now once they fill out the questionnaire, then we will receive it and everything is online. We will conduct desktop review of the self-assessment questionnaire, and this is done by a third-party independent objective party. Based on the findings, the third party will send initial finding report to the zones, and in case they require to do some sort of corrective action, it has to be done. Based on the outcomes, again, this third-party certification body will send a validator. The validator, before going to the site, doing site visit, he will prepare what is called a validation plan for the site visit. He will contact the zone and send them the visit plan. Once the validator goes on site, he will do the verification and validation. Whatever is written in the self-assessment questionnaire can be evident by looking at objective evidences of compliances at their documents and data. And based on the interview, the validator will conclude his final report and send it back to our safe zone committee. At this stage, the World Free Zone organization will request the balance 50%, $5,000 to be paid, the second payment, the final payment, and that has to be done before rewarding the safe zone certification to the successful applicant. So this is the entire process is done. Everything is done online. It's very simple, straightforward process. It doesn't consume time if the zone is safe and secured and has everything in their practice and implemented. So the first step starts with registration by filling out the application form, and that application form has to be signed by higher authority in the zone, in the free zone, and the higher authority has to tell us who is the contact person to liaise with the World Free Zone organization or with the validator from their end. Okay, the self-assessment questionnaire, again, it has to be filled online. It contains 7 main questions. The first one is about, it's a general information about the nature and scope of the free zone applying for this program. The second question is related to trade compliance, how cargo is moving and complying with customs regulations, etc. The third one is related to records of trade movement in and out, how they keep the records. And the fourth one is related to all financial transactions, how they are done, are they viable or not? And again, the impact of their security on supply chain, how all the supply chain and the ecosystem around the zones is complying with safety and security requirements. The sixth question is about due diligence and risk, how zones are doing due diligence in order to ensure that companies are clean and reputable before registering or before setting up their businesses in the free zone. The seventh question is about transparency between the zones and the companies in the zones, and about compliance with the Code of Conduct, the OECD Code of Conduct. So there are two main documents in this program that the validator look at. The first one is the OECD Code of Conduct, and this is the backbone of the Safe Zone certification program, because it follows the OECD standards by adopting several key behavioral and logistical elements that ensure safety and security. And if this is done and exists and signed by the zone, then the zone can be certified as safe zone. If it is done in addition to what is called security declaration, a security declaration signed by all companies existing in the free zone, and the free zone in this case will be awarded with Safe Zone Platinum certification. Our standard program, certification program, is aligned with international management standard like the ISO 28000, it's security management standard, and the ISO 18001, it is health and safety management international standard. And for zones, I recommend, if they like to benefit from piloted zones who have implemented these requirements. One of them is Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. It's a good example of benchmark that any interested zone can contact them. We can arrange for them to go and benchmark how they have implemented Safe Zone certification requirements and how was the journey. And this Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority has gained recognition from the Higher Council of National Security in UAE. So these are like some examples what they have implemented in Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. They have security patrolling, monitoring the bounded area. They have CCTV cameras, physical patrols. They have smart patrols vehicles, including what is called com cars, segways, and utility vehicles. They have smart gates to monitor the flow of the vehicles and the foot traffic. So on site, like face recognition, they have gate pass reader, they have smart seals tracking, they have enhanced security pay, automated undercarriage vehicle inspection. They have even automatic container number recognition. They have designated lanes. They have interactive display screens. They have so many up-to-date technology in place that ensures safety and security in the zone itself. They have even smart e-gate pass for any individual passing the gates, entering the zones. He will be screened whether he's carrying like illegal instruments, weapons, drugs, etc., he will be scanned without even knowing. And even cars entering the zones and entering the parking lots will be screened and scanned in order to ensure that it doesn't hide any illegal equipments, arms, weapons, drugs, etc. So going for certification, safe zone certification, it really builds a confidence and trust in the zone operational model by all stakeholders dealing with the zone. In conclusion, this safe zone certification program is a global reference and an important win-win instrument for all stakeholders. It's a full ecosystem that contains the free zone and surround the free zone. And this, in this case, the zones will showcase compliance with international standard for clean trade. Again, for any information, if you need any information about this certification program, please do not hesitate to contact us at www.certificationhub.org. This is the website where you can fill out your application form, which is the registration form, and you start doing the submission and receiving the feedback, etc. Or you can contact me by, this is my email there, and this is even, you can write to me on WhatsApp, and this is my mobile phone number. I do encourage all zones to participate. It's an interesting exercise, it's a fun exercise, and it's adding value to zones. So thank you very much, and good luck. Good luck to all. Thank you.
Ms. Sajan, the floor is yours, please. We don't hear you.
Morning,
Sajan.
everyone. I am Sajan. I'm heading the IT department at World Free Zones Organization. I just want to quickly show you the website for the Safe Zone application to be submitted. Allow me to share my screen. For any certifications of World Free Zones Organization, we have developed a certification hub website, which includes all our certifications. So we have initially the Safe Zone, which is a flagship project which we have at the moment, and Green Zone and Smart Zone are the other certificates which are upcoming. So it's pretty easy. You can go here and click on register button. Then you will have a registration form. I'm just filling with some dummy data so that we can just go through this. So select the country. Website, if you want, you can give. We need to give the contact person, the main focal person whom we can contact throughout the certification process. And we need to choose that whether the free zone, your free zone is bounded free zone or not. If it's a bounded free zone, that's one of the main criteria to be part of the Safe Zone program. And your free zone has to be in operation for at least 3 years to be to take the certification. And then agree to the conditions, and then we can click on register. So once this is filled in and submitted, you're going to likely get an email. So you can see here, this is one of the test emails which you might be receiving. And in this, you should be ready with, to submit the eligibility documents, which are very much required to go to the second level of application. So as soon as this application is received by the World Free Zone Safe Zone Committee, they are going to approve your application. And you need to submit at the next level OECD Code of Conduct document, which is signed from the Free Zone Authority, and also the World Free Zone Agreement, which you need to sign. And you need to pay the 50% of the fees, which is $5,000, and also the Free Zone license copy, and all these documents to be submitted online. So I'll take you through an example here. After the approval, you will be likely seeing an email like this. You can go ahead and set a password. So once you create a password, then you can log in with the email address you have registered. So once you get into the system, you will go into the dashboard of SafeZone, and you will see a few options there. The first option is to submit the eligibility documents. You will see the eligibility documents which needs to be signed in the portal. You can download those. There are two documents there, which is one is the agreement and other one is OECD Code of Conduct document. And then you can open it and sign it and upload it back. So you need to fill in this, put the stamp, get the signature from the authority and upload it back. So you need to also attach the payment receipt and the free zone license, which is very important. Just quickly show you how we can attach this. Just since I don't have the payment receipts, I'm just attaching a dummy document there. So as soon as you finish this, just press submit and that's it. You're done with the second phase of this application process. So after this, you're going to you will be allowed to go to the SafeZone self-assessment questionnaire. If you go into the dashboard again, come back here and you have self-assessment questionnaire, which contains 7 sections. 8 sections, you have to fill in your answers, attach in a document if you need, and click on save for each option, each session. And then you will see the green color tick mark. That means that you have submitted correctly all the answers. Once you finish, you just again submit it to the World Free Zone. And the validator will be in place who will be validating your SAQ. And he will be arranging a site visit in order to verify the proof of these SAQ which you have submitted. So that concludes this part. So after that, the validator will constantly be in touch with the free zone manager, till the process of rewarding the free zone with a certification. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sajan. Thank you, Engineer Hussam, for your participation. We open the floor for any possible Q&A. I will answer first of all, Amina and Marwa. I will tell them that all this, the two presentations will be shared with all the participants. I know that in your place you have somehow difficulties to follow us or some troubles in the connection. This presentation, the 2 PowerPoint presentation and some documents of the SafeZone program will be shared with you, and a recording of this session will be in our website very shortly. Any other question? I think that the presentation of Engineer Hussam and my colleague Sajan have been enough clear, explaining our project. I encourage all of you, this is the flagship project of the World Free Zone Organization, and just to show the world that free zones, economic zones, special economic zones are committed to safety, security, and compliance for people, money, intellectual property, and goods. I also thank my colleague and board of director member, Emeka, from Nigeria, who opened this session. Any question, colleagues? I see that Hussam, I have a question for you from Muhammad Al-Amin. Al-Amin Muhammad, what are the key benefits of enrolling as Safe Zone? What you will gain once certified safe?
I have demonstrated this in the PowerPoint presentation. There are so many benefits for free zones. One of them is that they become more secured by implementing higher standard and higher level of requirements based on OECD requirements, World Trade Organization requirements, based on World Customs Organization requirements, and best practices. They become more secure, and once they are more secure, they will attract more FDI to their zones. They will be trade facilitated easily, going smoothly in and out their borders. There will be there will be a lot of so many benefits. They create more jobs, for instance. So they embrace their local governments. So there are so many benefits because, you know, investors, the main thing investors look at is security. You know, investors are not looking for whether the establishing in zone A, in country A or country B, zone B, more expensive or more cheaper. No, they need more security. Security is essential requirement for any investor coming from abroad. So safe zone and safe zone certification prove that the zone is really up to high standard level in terms of safety and security, and that's what makes their life easy, and they operate smoothly. Yeah.
Thank you, Hussam. A secure zone is a trusted zone, trusted by the customer, trusted by the investor, trusted by customs authority, trusted by the ministry, trusted by all their stakeholders. And by the way, I would like to invite all of you to attend our next annual conference. The World Free Zone 9th annual conference will take place in Dubai, 2nd and 3rd of May. And precisely, the topic is Free Zone Ecosystem of Trust.
How do you see the Safe Zone certification relates to the global process? More specifically, how could it create further value for individual free zones?
Well, any third-party certification is a recognition, independent recognition that is recognized internationally. Like if you go for ISO certification, any type of certification, this certification is recognized internationally. So this particular program is built on a recommendation and the standard of three main multilateral organizations that relate to safety and security: the World Trade Organization, the World Customs Organization, and the OECD. So definitely, you know, any certification to this or against this program will be recognized by these three independent multilateral organizations. Yeah, and that's where the credibility comes from.
Hussam, I don't know if you can be, well, part of the question I have been receiving by Unyobong Jackson. This is a certification for a free zone as authority. We are not, at this stage, we are not targeting individuals and workers within the zone. Hussam, do you agree on me on this answer? Have you seen the question from Unyobong Jackson? How can individuals get certified in order to endure the standards in other zones? must be zones alone? I think I answered saying, Hosam, that this certification, we are targeting the Free Zones Authority, not at the same time persons. I don't know if he
Definitely, Dr. Samir is not individuals, employees, no. It target free zones authorities or management or operators of free zones. But when they are applying for Safe Zone Platinum certification, the authority will go into the companies existing in the zones to sign a declaration form, and the declaration form sets the ground for allowing the zones authority to inspect their warehouses, watch out their movements. So it impacts on zones, companies, and employees working in the companies, definitely. But it's not like a personal interest. No, it's not for personal.
Thank you, Hosam. Just two short observation, and these observations are more than observation, answering two main questions that I have seen there in the Q&A. One is regarding the validator in the Safe Zone certification program. World Free Zone Organization joint hands with KGH Customs. KGH is the Swedish company belonging to the Maersk Group and Holding, and KGH is the most renowned and famous and experimented company in innovating and improving and updating the customs within the zones. Just to let you know that when the UK Brexit, the European Customs Unions, KGH Custom was the entity that updated all the UK customs law, infrastructure, and technology. So our validator, our independent validator, very well experienced and experimented validator from the company. Regarding the OECD, the World Free Zone Organization has worked very closely with the OECD. When the OECD in early 2017 and 18, let's say, issued a draft of the Code of Conduct for the Safe Zone, for Clean Zone. And if you remember, Srikant, we have been in Paris and we presented our recommendation to that Code of Conduct. The Code of Conduct of the OECD has been approved in September 2019, and immediately the World Free Zone Organization adapted and adopted that Code of Conduct of part of the process, and we continue collaborating and working with the OECD in order to, let's say, promote that Code of Conduct for clean zones, and in order somehow to have the recognition of our certification. These are the two observations I wanted to mention. More than an observation, it's just an answer. Okay, I think our colleague Emeka, Hosam, and Sajan presentation were very clear. As I mentioned it, we will share with you a copy of these 2-3 PowerPoint presentation, more information on the Safe Zone program. And once we have edited this video, we'll put it also in our certification hub for you to review whatever have been said. The most importantly now is the next step, and the next step is I encourage all of you to go and start the process. You will contribute to the safety and security of the zone, and you will contribute to attract much more investors to your place, and of course, to give a better image of your zones and other zones in its totality. Hosam, Sajan, any other information you would like to add?
As I mentioned, anybody interested, please feel free to contact us, write to us. We are available on email. I'm available on WhatsApp. We can create awareness, individual awareness. We encourage all zones, to be safe, secured for the benefits of their countries, and we will be glad to help in that, and we wish good luck to all free zones.
Okay, thank you so much. It's really nice to have you all, and just to let you say that I'm very happy to have you, and very happy this is today. It's raining today in Dubai, so it is once a year, and it is coinciding with this webinar. Thank you all for your participation, and see you very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.